By Duncan Tucker. Pachuca. Image copyright courtesy of German crew. Image caption: Palmitas has had a colorful facelift for many years. The rundown Palmitas neighborhood that overlooks the Mexican city of Pachuca was a hive of delinquency. The drab homes and dimly lit streets that hugged the steep hillside were rife with drug addiction, theft and domestic violence. Now proudly bathed in kaleidoscopic colors, the area stands as an example of how to transform marginalized neighborhoods across Latin America. Government-funded muralists have turned the hillside into a giant work of art, while helping locals to find employment opportunities and develop a sense of community. The neighborhood changed completely. The colors gave it life, says Dona Chela, a local pastry chef. There used to be a lot of robberies and people drinking on the streets all the time. That happens much less now. Pachuca's paint job, located 88 kilometers 55 miles northeast of Mexico City in Hidalgo State, Pachuca is best known as a former hub for Cornish miners who introduced football and pasties to Mexico in the 19th century. Image copyright courtesy of German crew. Image caption: The swirly patterns of color were inspired by the city's nickname. The city has been spared the worst of the cartel violence that has plagued Mexico in the last decade, but petty crime has been a consistent problem, particularly in hillside slums like Palmitas. Read A Guide to Mexico's Drug Cartels. This has begun to change since a team of graffiti artists known as the German Crew painted 200 houses here in 2015. Viewed from afar, the homes fit together to form swirling patterns inspired by Pachuca's nickname of La Bella Hermosa, the Windy Beauty. Closer inspection reveals finer details among the labyrinth of stairways and alleyways, including several iconic portraits of local residents. Image copyright Duncan Tucker. Image caption: The artists wanted to include local residents in their artwork. Image copyright Duncan Tucker. Image copyright Duncan Tucker. The muralists are now painting another 300 homes in the adjacent Cubitos neighborhood. Known as the Macro Mural, the project is due for completion in November. Organizers say it will cover 40,000 square meters, making it the world's largest mural of its kind. Changing people's lives. The project is led by Enrique Gomez, a 36-year-old former gang member from an impoverished area in nearby Mexico State. Image copyright Duncan Tucker. Image caption: Enrique Gomez says graffiti has helped him leave behind illegal stuff. I've had an intense life. I left home at age 16 and got involved in gangs and loads of illegal stuff, Mr. Gomez says. Fortunately, through graffiti I found a pathway out of all that. There was more money in graffiti and less risk of being arrested or killed. You may also be interested in Berlin. Street artists tackle swastikas. The evolution of graffiti. Banksy-inspired art tackles extremism. Graffiti inspirational or offensive? Mr. Gomez says his background has helped him win the trust of local youths. By persuading members of feuding clans to paint together, he aims to reduce tensions and engender a sense of brotherhood and community spirit. Aside from brightening the area with his brushstrokes, Mr. Gomez has given talks, held art workshops and employed locals to help out. Image copyright Duncan Tucker. Image caption: Enrique Gomez wants the children to be able to be proud of their communities. He also hopes to open a community center where children can engage in healthy activities and learn to use computers. Before, people didn't like to admit they were from here. Now they boast of it, Mr. Gomez says with a smile. We've shown them they can find work and move forward in life, no matter where they're from. Prevention of crime. The Mexican government has invested almost 10 million pesos $565,000 £435,000 in the project, including funding for new streetlights, counseling for local families, and cookery, hairdressing and jewelry making workshops. Critics have accused the government of trying to paint over poverty, but Juan Pontigo, the head of Hidalgo's Public Security Council, insists that Mexico must back more initiatives like this to provide vulnerable youths with alternatives to a life of crime. Image copyright Duncan Tucker. Image caption: The project has its critics, too, who say it just masks poverty. If you ask children today if they'd like to be police officers, many say no, they want to be narcos, Mr. Pontigo says. We have a culture of being reactive to crime and focusing on its effects. We must also do all we can to address the causes through prevention. The project's potential has not gone unnoticed. The German crew were recently hired to produce another macro mural in the northern city of Monterrey, while their work has also inspired a similar program in Puerto Rico. We've had visitors from other states and countries who are interested in replicating this model, says Pachuca Mayor Yolanda Telleria. Image copyright Duncan Tucker. Image caption: the mayor of Pachuca hopes the project will be a draw for tourists. It's a success story for transforming favelas and neighborhoods with high levels of crime and social problems. The murals have also boosted Pachuca's international profile. A music video that British pop stars Sigala and Ella Eyre filmed in Palmitas has over 13 million views since its release in June. Mayor Telleria hopes the exposure will draw foreign tourists. Her government intends to run guided tours of the murals, creating opportunities for locals to sell snacks and souvenirs to visitors. We want people to visit this place, Ms. Telleria says. We need to bring tourism and generate revenue within these neighborhoods for the benefit of our youth.